So after using the Z Fold 8, I kind of have this thought. Everyone's been saying to wait for the iPhone Fold or the iPhone Ultra, which, unless you've been living under a rock, is Apple's iPhone foldable that's coming out in as little as a month. Now, do I think the iPhone Ultra is going to be good? Well, of course. But I'd be lying if I said that I didn't have some concerns. Just like the Fold 8, Apple is using a 5.5-inch cover screen. There's going to be a 7.5-inch internal display. It will apparently have Touch ID on the power button rather than Face ID, just like the fingerprint sensor on the Fold 8. And it will also have two 48-megapixel cameras on the back, which would be a wide and an ultra wide. It will also have 12 gigs of RAM. If this sounds like the Fold 8, I'm not here to argue with who was first, but yeah, it's basically an identical phone with Apple's design language and software. So if you're an iPhone user, I'm happy for you because you get to experience what Android has been doing for the last decade, all without actually breaking your ecosystem. And I'm not being cynical when I say the last decade or anything, because realistically, if we go and look back even a couple of years, foldables were not something that was worth recommending. They were heavy, they were thick, they had a lot of issues, and they were and are still very expensive. So even though this is Apple's first generation foldable, we have to be real here. They're using a display from Samsung, which is by no means a first generation flexible OLED, which means that you'll essentially be jumping into one of the best attempts at this form factor. Though I do have some concerns. Before we get into it though, I just want to say thank you guys so much for being here. We're almost at 100,000 subscribers, which is absolutely insane. A like and a sub goes a very long way. We're trying to put a plaque on that wall by the end of the year, and I can't thank y'all enough, for real. Anyways, there's a couple major problems with foldables. Durability is something that always comes into question. Battery life is more important, but it's harder to actually achieve since you need two smaller cells. In-hand feel is also a big one, especially when it comes to using the cover display. You want something that is able to be used one-handed, is comfortable, and doesn't create a lot of compromise. And I'd say the biggest problem with foldables actually has nothing to do with hardware at all. See, Apple has a very good opportunity here to do something that is not only good, but is actually better. With battery life, it could be the largest battery in a foldable, at least here in North America, with some rumors suggesting up to 5,500 milliamp hours, which is 15% larger than the Z Fold 8. And because it'll also be using the A20, which is a 2nm chip, along with one of their new C2 modems, whilst simultaneously running Apple's own software built specifically for these chips, even if the battery size was the same 4,800 milliamp hour of the Fold, it would most likely be more efficient and last you longer. And when it comes to durability, Apple might be going back to the titanium frame just like they did on the iPhone Air. And if we learned anything from the iPhone Air, that phone was incredibly thin, but it was also one of the strongest phones ever built. And now when it comes to specifically the Fold 8, we've seen that this is the most pre-ordered Galaxy phone ever made, which shows me that the form factor for the Fold 8 is a hit, and it is going to be pretty much the same form factor with the iPhone Fold. So Apple is kind of on the right track and the phone hasn't even been announced yet. Though where the Fold 8 and the iPhone will differ might honestly be the make or break. And I want you to think about this for a second. Whether you like it or not, what stopped Apple from adding split screen on their regular phones like the iPhone 17 Pro or Pro Max? And even if split screen did only end up on the Pro Max, it would be a feature that made people go toward the Pro Max over the regular Pro if you're someone that actually wanted it. Well, the thing is that nothing has stopped Apple from doing this. I mean, the iPad mini can do split screen multitasking. And realistically, it's not like the iPad mini display is much smaller when you actually compare it to a Pro Max sized phone. Now, the iPhone is definitely a lot more powerful, and the iPad mini is also a fraction of the price. But when it comes to the iPhone Fold, I think as much as it makes sense for us to see some form of split screen multitasking or an operating system that's kind of like a hybrid between iOS and iPadOS, is that something that we'd actually end up seeing? I have this weird inkling that Apple is gonna purposefully nerf the iPhone Fold. And I very much hope that I'm wrong, but I think Apple will look at this either one of two ways. Either the phone is going to be something that sits between the iPad and the iPhone, and it really is going to be a hybrid of the two, which means that the price is going to reflect that, or that this is an iPhone and it will do iPhone things, and if you want an iPad, go buy an iPad. And even though that last option is kind of a slap in the face, it wouldn't be unlike Apple to keep their product lineup segmented. I mean, there's a lot of people that genuinely believe the reason Apple doesn't have touchscreen on a MacBook is because it would cannibalize iPad sales. And if you think about it, it's even crazier because Apple does market the MacBook towards creative professionals and artists, and it's kind of crazy they haven't released a 2-in-1 MacBook. The biggest reason for this though is because you're going to buy the MacBook anyway. Now we could sell you the iPad Pro. I know this sounds bad. I'm not hating on Apple. I actually love Apple's products, but it's something that's worth thinking about. On the other hand, while I do think in some way that Apple may find a way to nerf the iPhone Ultra, I also think that it would be the best place someone could experience a foldable. And I say that as someone that loves Android. Like, it might just be the best folding phone if they do a few things right. The truth is that there's so many foldables. There's so many companies that make folding phones, and there's so many different types of styles and aspect ratios for these devices, which is great for the sake of choice because you can actually get something that you really want, but it's also an app developer's nightmare, and it's something that you could see firsthand when you pick up a Fold that's running Android. As much as I want to say the Fold 8 is a perfect phone, it isn't. There's a ton of apps that I've run into that just aren't ready yet. And granted, none of them are things that I necessarily care about or use on a daily basis. And as far as what I actually use my phone for, everything so far has been pretty good. But just to give you a crazy example, we used to have apps from Google. Yeah, Google, the people that literally make Android, have features and applications that were missing on foldables. For the longest time, whether it was a Pixel Fold or a Z Fold, I actually could not make a single community post from YouTube. There was also a time where I needed like an Instagram brand code or something to send to an advertiser. I could not get that from the Pixel Fold, the Pixel 9 Pro Fold, when I was in Vegas, which was really frustrating. Yet on the iPhone, for some reason, despite these even being Google apps, they worked better. Part of this is because the user base here in North America is more so heavy toward Apple, but most of it comes down to the fact that there are just less versions of the iPhone. Rather than someone trying to get an app to work on the Fold 8, the Fold 8 Ultra, the Flip 8, the S26 Ultra, S26, S26 Plus, S20 FE, whatever, and then repeat that with OnePlus, with nothing, with Google. All they have to do is make an app for a handful of devices, maximum like 4 or 5 every year, and make sure that they work. So it's easier to build an app on the iPhone, which leads me to believe that the iPhone Fold, when it comes to app optimization at least, will not only be better than any Fold that we had before, but also have this weird effect where we get apps that have been rebuilt with a folding phone in mind, and we might actually see some of these changes trickle down into Android. And now, that's where things get a little bit more interesting. We could see a phone that has the hardware, the battery life, and the durability that we've been waiting for in a foldable. And for the first time, we could be seeing an iPhone that would allow you to do more than what iOS is currently capable of. But Apple has to let the foldable be a foldable and not just an iPhone that opens up. And a lot of the reason I'm excited for the iPhone Ultra isn't because I'm excited to use the iPhone Ultra, it's because I'm excited to see where it takes foldables. I've been using folding phones since the Z Fold 3, which is a very long time now actually. And I remember when they still felt like beta products, when there was a bunch of quirks and issues with them, but it was still something that I really enjoyed because I believed in what they could do in the future. It's just not something that I wanted to see disappear, and it's why I've been such a big advocate for them. So yeah, it's not because I'm excited necessarily for the iPhone Fold itself, but it's because Apple has a real opportunity here to make something that could change the way that we actually use and think about foldables in the future, and it could genuinely reshape all of these devices, especially now that this form factor is definitely the one that's hitting. And if they get it right, it doesn't just make Apple look good, it directly impacts and benefits this form factor and any operating system with these devices. But if they get it wrong, we could end up with one of the best foldables ever made, running software that intentionally bottlenecks it. And I really hope that doesn't happen. Anyways though, I am kind of curious to see what you guys think about this. This was just more of like a conversational piece, so I would love to hear your comments down below. We are like almost a month out from the iPhone Ultra being a real thing, so I want to just see where you guys are currently standing with it, what you might hope to see, what you want to hear about when it actually does release. And yeah, thank you for being here. If you made it all the way to the end, a like and a sub goes a very long way, and dropping a turtle emoji in the comments down below shows me who the real ones are. I'll see you all in the next one, which, by the way, is going to be exciting, so stay tuned, and peace out.